The Warriors were the best team in the NBA this past season, and they just followed that up with tremendous draft selections. And it seems as if they just keep getting better and better. So in today's video, I'm breaking down the 3 picks that they chose and seeing what kind of potential is in store for them in the league. I'll also be discussing what they bring to the Warriors, who have lost a lot of players during free agency. To start off with, before I get into the individual breakdowns of each player's game style, I want to discuss that the Warriors have been one of the top teams at developing the young talent they draft. So adding the 3 guys that they did is excellent because each of them have a super high ceiling for them to work with, which is often hard to find in the later picks of the draft. Also, one of the things that I really like about the Warriors team is they've been building their team differently the past couple of years by inserting an impressive lineup consisting of experienced players and young players, which has proven to work for them because the younger athletic players add speed and physicality to their lineup, then the older guys add more game knowledge and a better skill set to the bunch. And this doesn't seem like a big deal, but a lot of teams lately have either been starting a whole new rebuild with draft picks or trading to get only older players so they can try to win now. But instead, the Warriors are focused on having a pretty even mix to help them compete now and win championships. So with all that being said, let's look at the rookies they're adding to their team next year and what they'll bring to the roster. Starting off with the first pick, the Warriors had at number 28, they chose Patrick Baldwin Jr. out of Milwaukee. And I think this was the best choice they could have made and just about a perfect pick for them. Obviously, the Warriors are very high on players that shoot the 3-ball, and adding Baldwin to the team brings even more shooting at the forward/wing spot. Also, having the 2 greatest shooters ever on the roster will help him learn from the best and develop into the player that everyone thought was a top 10 pick heading into college last year. His game as of right now is still very raw and he'll need time to become a star for them, but standing at 6'10", he's basically a shooting guard that handles the ball well, has great shot mechanics although he is a bit inconsistent, and he also runs the court very well for his size. In all, he reminds me a lot of the top 3 selections in the draft, but he's way less developed than them and isn't as NBA ready. But overall, I'm a huge fan of this pick by the Warriors. And his NBA comparison from me is a mix between Michael Porter Jr. and KD, which he obviously has a long way to go to become a player like them, but it's still insane that he has this potential. So I'm looking forward to seeing how his future goes with the Warriors. Rollins is the next player they chose at pick number 44, and he may be the biggest steal in this year's draft. He's another player that fits perfectly into the Warriors roster, and falling this low to Golden State is a crime. Because he played at Toledo in college though, he was a bit overlooked even after averaging 19 points, 6 rebounds, and 4 assists, but I think if he would have played in a Power 5 conference, he'd have been a top 20 pick. On offense, Rollins is an all-around scorer that can do anything for his team. He hits threes, pull-up shots, and is a good rim attacker that finishes well with contact. And his versatility on offense reminds me a ton of Jordan Poole, which is awesome because Poole can be a teacher to Rollins just as Curry was to him. And as you can tell from watching Rollins' movements on offense, they're just super similar to Poole. Like the way he's able to blow by his defender with a crossover, it's nearly identical. His passing is also a big strength in his game, and when playing with Curry, Clay, and Wiggins, he can be a playmaker for their team. Then on defense, he's also a solid defender and his athleticism definitely helps with this. He moves quickly side to side and sticks with his guy, then on shot attempts he has a large wingspan that forces a tough contest, and oftentimes a block out of bounds. And since he proved to be an effective two-way player in college, this leads my all-around comparison for his game, CJ McCollum. And if he's able to become as good as McCollum in a few years, the Warriors got one of the biggest steals ever and the future is just as bright as the present for their team. The last player the Dubs drafted with their 55th pick is Gui Santos. He's also a great selection for them because this late in the draft, most times you'll find players that are older and don't have much upside, but Santos is only 20 and at 6'8" he's athletic enough and has the skill set to become very good in the league. He also had his Summer League debut with the Warriors on July 2nd and played amazing, scoring 23 points and grabbing 6 boards. And now I know a lot of times the Summer League doesn't mean too much, but it's still super impressive to see this type of play from the 55th pick in the draft. And we never really know, it might mean the Warriors got a massive steal in the draft. Well, that's it for this one. Let me know in the comments what you think about the Warriors' new additions and what your predictions are for their careers. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.